Oh, shit. Come to Big Bend, ride the epic loop. We'll have some laughs.
How long after we're declared overdue can we expect a rescue?
17 days.
17 days? Hey man, I don't want to rain on your parade. We're not going to last 17 hours. Why don't you put her in charge?
You better just...
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. For today's festivities, I plan to ride my Surly Krampus, loaded down with about 60 pounds worth of gear and an additional 185 pounds of dead weight, approximately 60 miles across the Chihuahuan Desert. Save me a piece of pumpkin pie. What's up, you stone-cold foxes and bad mamma jammas? I bet you're thinking, man, this jive turkey thinks it's Thanksgiving still. That was like 3 weeks ago. Well, gobble gobble, pilgrims. There was no gravy slurping or yam cramming for me this year. I was busy feasting on 1,200 square miles of yummy, thorny, dry West Texas desert. And the only thing I was grateful for was tubeless tires and sunscreen. Riding the Fresno Saceto Loop, or Epic Trail, in Big Bend Ranch State Park has lived on my bucket list for a few years now. I finally managed to bike camp this cactus-covered double dog dare over the holiday break, and I wanted to make a quick recap on it, just in case you maniacs want to give it a go. In this video, I'll give you a rundown of my trip, as well as resources, information, and potential gotchas, so that you too can plan your own cruise through this badass backcountry Texas adventure. Now, I'm no stranger to mountain biking Big Bend State Park. I even made a video about it, which I'll link below in the description too. But I am stupid and I am arrogant, so I usually misjudge how hard things are going to be, and this trip was no different. Mistakes were made. But thankfully, I managed to Dunning-Kruger my way through it like I do everything else in life, which will only delude me into thinking I'm capable of doing even harder things in the future. Having said that, it was painfully obvious to me that this trip could have gone south real fast had I come underprepared. That's why I want to stress that the Chihuahuan Desert is a prickly lady, both literally and figuratively, and she will punish you if you don't take her seriously. So, what is the Big Bend Epic Trail? Well, it's a series of single-track hiking trails, jeep trails, and somewhat vaguely implied paths that chain together through the backcountry of Big Bend Ranch State Park. The entrance and the exit are located at Dog Chola Trailhead, just across the street from the Barton Warnock Ranger Station. The entire trip is about 60 miles. That may not sound like much to some of you distance junkies, but be wary of this number. I averaged about 5.6 miles per hour on the trip. Granted, I'm not in what I would call elite mountain bike shape, and I was running a very heavy setup. But regardless of my physical abilities and the equipment weight, there are just aspects of this trail that will slow you down to a crawl, or even force you to dismount and push your bike. I stress this point because there is no water for the first 30 miles of this trip. My intention was to cover 40 miles on the first day. But because I'm a dumbass and I didn't get started till noon, I was only able to cover about 20 miles on the first day before the sun started to set. I was forced to find an improvised backcountry campsite and ration my water until the next day. So pay attention to your schedule and make sure you give yourself ample time. And if you're going to try and smash this trail out in one day, you better bring some lights for your bike setup. This brings me to my next point. Bring more water than you think you'll need. I drank about 4 liters of water on my first day and temperatures were mild. Thankfully, I had 1.5 liters left to get me to the Sassetto Ranger Station the next morning. Located at mile 30, the Sassetto Ranger Station is where you'll refill your water, and it's the first plausible place you could call for an extraction should you have a mechanical failure, injury, or need to cry uncle for some reason. Prior to that, you need to plan on being on your own unless you speak Javelina. You may encounter random 4x4 crawler caravans or fellow backcountry campers, but I wouldn't count on it. There used to be a bunkhouse at the Sassetto Ranger Station where you could book an overnight stay, but it's been indefinitely closed due to plumbing issues. So you're going to have to haul your own camping gear in if you want to camp the first night. Between miles 21 and 40, there are scant backcountry campsites available for reservation. These may or may not have some combination of a sun pergola, bear box, table, and fire ring, but not much else. It's nice to have one reserved, but backcountry camping is allowed, so keep your eyes peeled for cactus-free patches of desert that you can pitch your tent if you need to. Past mile 30 is where things get spicy. Expect to encounter challenging climbs and descents on sketchy rock slides, and ice skate on thick sandy creek bottoms that make you feel like your tires are coated in Crisco. There were even places where I was forced to crawl and slide my bike under downed trees. So get comfortable with the fact that there are times on this trail that will force you to walk, push, and drag your bike and gear. The trail also gets pretty murky on portions of the ride. Knowing that you're on the right path is probably the most critical factor to safety on this adventure. You do not want to get lost in this place, and there are plenty of tragic stories of folks not making it out of the desert because they lost their way. Here are a few tips for keeping you on the right path. Keep your eyes peeled for rock cairns, trailhead signs, bicycle and foot tracks, and even horse droppings to have confidence that you're on the right direction. Having said that, don't count on them. More than once I was lured away from the trail by tracks of previous errant travelers that didn't know where they were going any more than I did. And the desert wind combined with copious loose sand can quickly obscure any signs of foot and bike traffic in the desert. Never stray too far from a known path. If at any time you find yourself no longer able to discern a trail, it's important to be able to backtrack to trails that you are confident in. So if you find that it's been a while since you've seen clear path sign, it's probably best to double back. Unless you are very seasoned at orienteering or have someone who's familiar with the Epic Trail system, I wouldn't attempt this trip without a satellite pathfinding device. I stress the word satellite here because you will not have cell service for most of this trip. We used a Chorus Dura Solar GPS bike computer with a downloaded Strava map of the Epic Trail. It saved our asses more than once on this trip. You can get a digital map from Trailforks or MTB Project if you need one. For the most part, the trail is well demarcated, but trust me, there will be times when you are no longer confident that you are on the right path, and a satellite device is a huge comfort when this happens. Let's talk about bike choice. I rode a rigid steel frame Surly Krampus with 3-inch fat tires for this trip. My travel companion was on a full suspension mountain bike. My fat tire bike was great for the loose sandy creek trails, and it handled the rugged terrain pretty nicely. But I definitely felt its weight on the climbs, and towards the end of my trip, my shoulders and back were definitely getting tired and wishing they had some sort of front suspension fork to absorb some of the bumps. Both bikes had their pros and cons, but don't think this is a great opportunity to try out your spiffy new gravel bike. I'm not saying it can't be done, but unless you're a glutton for punishment, I think you'll probably regret it. Tubeless tires are non-negotiable in Big Bend. Everything is trying to poke you out there. And even with a tubeless setup, I would bring tubes just in case you have a catastrophic flat. Speaking of things trying to poke you, I might consider long pants. These trails are flanked by mesquite and cactus, and there's no way to avoid pointy encounters. I decided to wear shorts to showcase my sexy calf muscles, and I paid the price. But hey, beauty hurts. Bring lots of calorie-dense snacks. It's easy to get into a sort of delirious focus in the desert and forget to eat. But this is deceptive, and you can quickly find yourself making bad decisions and novice bike handling mistakes if you don't keep your body fueled. Finishing miles 30 through 50 is the hardest terrain of the trip. In the last 10 miles, you'll return to the more forgiving and better established trails of the park, and then you're home free. When you get back to the trailhead, you can reward yourself with a beer and a big-ass meal in nearby Lajitas. I set up my base camp at Grassy Banks Campground inside the park, but there's plenty of lodging nearby in Terlingua if you prefer nicer accommodations. Also, Desert Sports in Terlingua is a great place to get bike service, parts, and trail beta. It's worth a pop in just to make sure there aren't any recently reported gotchas on the trail. So, do I think the trip was worth it? My answer is hell yes. The varied desert terrain is breathtaking, and I got to see places that very few people get to experience. Plus, I leveled up my bike camping skills considerably. This was one of the best remote camping adventures I've ever had. Finishing this trail means no one can ever call you a jive turkey again. So, put down that gravy boat and get your ass to the epic trail in Big Bend Ranch State Park. Thanks for watching, and please give me a like or subscribe if you enjoyed my prattling. Who knows what dumbassery I'll be up to next?